Kirby Joseph gets his flowers after all.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Oh, it's a Friday edition, everybody. A snowy Friday edition of Locked On Lions, the Locked On Lions on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Matt Derry and you on a Friday, January 10th, into a freaking weekend, and Saturday, January 11th. Thanks for making us your first listen. Thanks for checking us out wherever and whenever you get your podcast. Appreciate all of you. Locked On Lions today is brought to you by our friends at PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. Use the code all lowercase LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. Thank you to our everydayers who are out there watching, listening daily on the podcast. That includes some of our buddies like Scott Donnellan, Andrew Walker, the great Brian Austin Benefits Group, Robert Mendieta. Appreciate you, Robert. Alex Ristich. We love Alex. Joseph Sharp. My boy, Reese Robinson. Reese just hit me up the other day. He's his son, Lincoln. He just had a baby boy. Lincoln was born Sunday, right before the Lions beat the Vikings. And his middle name is Graham, after Graham Glasgow. All right, Reese, congrats. And a special shout out to, yes, Sarah Frazier's father-in-law, the great Terry Frazier. It was a breaking bread earlier today with the legends, Sarah Frazier and Michelle Choice. And Sarah said, you got to give Terry some love. So there you go. Terry Frazier, thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Lions. Big day today. The AP All-Pro teams came out. We'll tell you how many Lions made the first team and second team. You know what I haven't talked about is this 2025 schedule for next year. The Lions road schedule is like illegal. And I know this dummy that you're looking at, if you're watching on our YouTube channel or you're listening to, this dummy predicted 10-7 this year because I thought the schedule was difficult. Wait till I run down the Lions road schedule next year. It's almost unfair. We will get into that. I want to go over this weekend's games as well, and we will get another call of the day in the mix. If you want to be our call of the day, go to our SpeakPipe voicemail system at speakpipe.com/Dairy Podcast page. If you missed yesterday's call with Plymouth Jim, that was pretty epic. The great Ross Tucker was on yesterday with us as well from CBS and Westwood One. Ross is just the best. Follow him on all platforms at Ross Tucker NFL. All right, so today we kind of knew this was coming down. The AP All-Pro teams were announced, and a lot of times players get bonuses off of this. A lot of times people use this to gauge, oh, he's been a 5-time All-Pro. They use what is called the Associated Press All-Pro team. This is a group of writers and media people that vote for this. We talked earlier in the week about Kirby Joseph getting snubbed. Where's the king of the snub? Albert Dale. But no, Kirby Joseph got snubbed from the Pro Bowl. He wasn't even a first alternate. He was a second alternate. And the Pro Bowl is voted upon or on by the fans and the players and coaches. So it appears that Kirby Joseph, who got plenty of fan votes, he was near the top of the fan vote for safety. But the players and coaches, there are some that still believe that he's a dirty player. Going back to last year when he had 2 low hits on TJ Hawkinson and Tyler Higbee, and both suffered injured ACLs. Of course, there's the video of Matthew Stafford from the playoff game last year telling Kirby he's dirty AF, which I thought hurt Kirby's campaign. Well, today, the Lions got 6 All-Pros named, 4 on the first team, 2 on the second team. And yes, Kirby Joseph, interception machine, league's leader in interceptions with 9. All around, really good free safety, and a guy that has been needed all season on this defense, was named to the All-Pro team. He got 37 first place votes. Kirby Joseph, All-Pro. You love it. You love to see it. And there's videos circling around social media. You can go to prideofdetroit.com and check him out as well. Rob Motti, one of the AP writers from Philly, had him on his podcast and told him, hey, by the way, Kirby, congratulations, you made it. After telling him, hey, you didn't make the Pro Bowl, what'd you think? And Kirby said, oh, but Brian Branch made it. And, all this stuff. And then he told him, which was kind of cool. So Kirby Joseph, well-deserved is first team all pro. That is just awesome. Congratulations to Kirby Joseph. He deserves it. Kirby's had a great year. Great year. Also making the all-pro team for the second time on the first team, and there's a lot of good wide receivers out there. A lot. Amon-Ra St. Brown made the first team, along with Jamar Chase. That is impressive. Amon-Ra, first team all-pro. Second time that's happened for him. Huge, huge honor for that young man. And look, when you talk about the Lions offense, we talk so much about what Jahmyr Gibbs has been doing, Jared Goff, of course, the offensive line. Sometimes we forget that this might be the greatest fourth round pick in Lions history. Amon-Ra is, he's a beast. 1,000 yards receiving again. Double digit touchdowns again. Dude's awesome. First team all pro. Also, Penei Sewell, Lions right tackle, second time, has made the all pro team again. And again, go to Pride of Detroit or the Lions website and check out the video of his wife and kid telling him that he made it, that he was first team all pro. What can you say about Penei Sewell? Now, apparently there's some whining going on in Philadelphia because Lane Johnson made second team and got beat out by Penei Sewell. Wah, give me a break. They posted some PFF numbers and some ESPN numbers in Johnson's locker compared to Sewell. They use some PFF, some ESPN. Bottom line, Penei Sewell's the best right tackle in the game. Stop. Lane Johnson is a great player. But no, Penei Sewell's first team all-pro. Second time that's happened. You got to win up front. And that's what the Lions do. And they've got a special talent and a guy that is locked up for years to come in Penei Sewell. And how about this? For the last first team all-pro Detroit Lion, none other than the punt god, Jack Fox. First time ever for Jack, the punt god. And he was surprised today via video by his long snapper, Hogan Hatton, and his kicker, Jake Bates. They did a little video with him, like a FaceTime call. It was awesome. It was hilarious, but so well-deserved. He flips the field, booming punts, 60, 70 yarders, just is an ace in the hole for the Lions. He's also a very good holder. And, there's been years he's been second team. Jack Fox, first team, all pro, best punter in the game. And he resides right here in Detroit. And of course, works at 222 Rodwood Drive, which, by the way, 222 was the Lions' point differential this year. Many of you pointed that out over on the social medias. Yes, 222. How about that? Not 221, not 223. 222 is awesome. 2 second team all pros for the Lions. Frank Ragnow. It seems like Frank Ragnow second team every year because Creed Humphrey from the Chiefs wins it every year as the starting center. So Ragnow will take second team for the third time. Hard to argue against it. Man, number 77, just a beast. Best center in the NFC, but unfortunately not a first team all pro. And Khalif Raymond made it as the return man. Second team all pro for Khalif. Great to have him healthy and back after injuring his foot. So you got 6, count them, 6 all pros for the Lions on first and second team. It's not as vast of a list. It was tough for guys like Jahmyr Gibbs to crack through and et cetera. But for the Lions to have 6 all pros is pretty sweet. Remember all those years when it was like, oh, just Barry or just Darius Slay or just Calvin. You'd have 1, you'd have maybe 2. Lions had 4 on the first team, 2 on the second team. So congratulations to those players. All well-deserved. You can make arguments for so many other guys, but those are your studs, man. And credit to Brad Holmes and the front office for drafting some of these guys, retaining them that were here from the previous regime, keeping them around. It's great to see. Great to see. And guys like Kirby Joseph, 3rd round pick, St. Brown, 4th round pick. Khalif Raymond was a pickup from the Jets or whatever. This wasn't just all first-round picks or high-priced free agents. All right, coming up next, let's talk about next year's schedule a little bit. Also, let's get into some of the games this weekend and what I expect. We'll do that here on a Friday, a snowy Friday edition of Locked on Lions. And Locked on Lions today is brought to you by our friends at Intuit TurboTax. Are you tired of the endless waiting, wondering, and worrying about your taxes? Wait, now that is a thing of the past. Yes, it is. You see, taxes don't need to be complicated or stressful. TurboTax is here to change the game by matching you with a TurboTax expert who can get to work on your return right away. No more waiting for answers. No more wondering if you're missing out on deductions. Whether you've got one form or 20, TurboTax experts give your taxes their undivided attention while you get real-time updates on their progress. You can focus on what really matters. You won't have to lift a finger, but you'll get the peace of mind knowing that your taxes are being handled by the pros. Yes, absolutely. Ready for stress-free taxes and the most money back guaranteed? Head over to TurboTax.com today and get matched with your expert who's ready to take your taxes off your plate so you can focus on your day. Only available with TurboTax Live full service, real-time updates only in the iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. And as well today, we're brought to you by our sponsor, which is PrizePicks. It is playoff time this weekend. We got game Saturday. We got game Sunday. Heck, we got a game Monday night. Where are they playing this game? Who even knows? No, they're playing in Arizona. But if you're like me, want to make the most out of these final weeks of football season, PrizePicks, got to play it. If you love football, you want a chance to win real money while watching the games, PrizePicks is the place for you. It's the best way to turn your sports opinions into cash with daily fantasy player projections. With PrizePicks, you simply pick more than or less than on player stats like total passing yards, rushing touchdowns for a chance to win up to 1,000 times your money. You can make your picks in less than 60 seconds. And whether you're looking for a flex play to boost your payout or you want to cash out quickly, PrizePicks has got you covered. With over 10 million members and billions in winnings, it's clear that people are loving this platform. What about this weekend? Josh, what about looking at any of these players? Josh Jacobs of the Packers. You rush for more than or less than one touchdown. You can put some money on that. What about Houston Texans? CJ Stroud against that Jesse Minter defense. More than or less than 230 yards passing. Put some money on that. And here's a special offer for Locked on Lions listeners. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's PrizePicks. Run your game. Friday edition of Locked on Lions. Matt Derry with you. Thanks for making us your first listen, everybody. Checking us out wherever you get your podcast. All right, this came out earlier this week because based on the 18-week, 17-game schedule, regular season, and based upon how the NFC North matches up, you go and you facilitate different divisions each year. You rotate, different divisions each year. The NFC North for next year will be going up against the AFC North, and also teams in the NFC North will be facing the teams from the NFC East. All right. So the Lions are going to play Dallas. They're going to play the Giants, Washington, Philadelphia, etc. So looking at next year's schedule based upon the Lions are playing a first place schedule. All right. When you finish in last place, you play bad teams. Finish in first place, you play other good teams in both, in the conference and out of conference. So the Lions' home schedule is the normal routine: Green Bay, Minnesota, Chicago, Dallas, the Giants, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Tampa Bay come to town for the home games. Listen to this road schedule. This is outrageous. But again, it's based upon the fact that the Lions had a first place schedule. The Lions for this year on the road, Minnesota, Green Bay, Chicago. They also have to go to Washington, Philly, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Kansas City, and the Rams. So next year, the Lions are playing 9 road games, 9 times, 9 road games. 7 of the 9 road games are against playoff teams. The only teams that didn't make the playoffs this year that the Lions are facing next year on the road are Cincinnati, who nearly made the playoffs 9-8, and the upstart Caleb Chicago Bears. Green Bay playoffs, Minnesota playoffs, Washington playoffs, Philly playoffs, Baltimore playoffs, Kansas City playoffs, Rams playoffs. The Lions are facing 7 playoff teams on the road next year. Jeez. Wow, dude. That's pretty wild. So that's the schedule for next season. I can't sit here and argue and say it's fair, it's not fair. It's not going to change. This is just how it goes. You play it for you finish first place, you going up against certain teams, you go based upon how they finished and the rotation of how it goes. The Lions hosted the Rams this year, so they're going to the Rams next year. And it just so happens based off of timing and placement, this is where this schedule is. Again, the NFC North are going to play NFC East, AFC North next year. That's brutal. That's absolutely brutal. But it is what it is. And look, like I said, this year I expected the Lions to lose more games than they did. They finished 15-2. When I was going game by game, I thought they were going to be 10-7, but still probably be a better team than this past year. But regardless, it just goes to show what I know, right? Lions had a tough schedule this year and did great. And this all could change. We could look at a team could get a bunch of injuries in August and not be the same team as they were this year. All right, as far as this weekend goes, we have begged the question all week. We asked it of Ross Tucker yesterday and others throughout the week. Who should the Lions want to play next week when they host their first playoff game in the divisional round? And it seems like the consensus is that the Washington Commanders with a rookie quarterback really going to go into Tampa and win, and then the next week go into Detroit and win, right? They're the 6th seed right now. That is the Sunday night game on NBC at 8:00. Washington at Tampa Bay. The Bucs are 3-point favorites. Bucs play really well at home. Bucs are off a game in week 18. They did not play very well at home and barely beat the Saints. I think Tampa wins that football game. I do. I think the Bucs will run the football. Baker Mayfield in the play action game. I love Jaden Daniels. I think he'll keep it close. There's a reason that spread is 3 points, but I think Tampa wins that football game. Saturday's games, tomorrow's games, the annual Saturday 4:30 Houston Texans game. Houston Texans first round game has always been Saturday at 4:30. Always. No one wants to watch the Texans. They don't put them in prime time. They don't. Saturday 4:30 CBS. Texans hosting the Chargers. Chargers and Jim Harbaugh. 3-point favorites in this game. And the Texans kind of are limping in, did not have a great season. Sloppiness. We saw them, of course, against the Lions earlier this year when they struggled. I kind of an agreement here. I like the Chargers in that game too. I think it's going to be a very entertaining game. But Jim Harbaugh in the playoffs, we know what that's like in college. He's made the Super Bowl in the NFL with the Niners. That dude just wins. The Saturday night game, it seems like we've watched this game 7,000 times this year, but once again, for the 3rd time, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here we go, Steelers. The Steelers at the Ravens on Amazon Prime tomorrow night at 8:00. Baltimore, a 9.5-point favorite in this rivalry game. Holy hell, 9.5? Nobody's got faith that old man Russ and the preacher, Mike Tomlin, are going to get this thing done. I don't think they are either. They've played very poorly coming into this game. The Steelers have dropped 4 straight. And Tomlin doesn't win a playoff game in eons. Ravens in that one. Sunday, of course, starts off with Denver at Buffalo at 1:00. Bills are a 9.5-point favorite. Watch the Broncos in this game. The Broncos have something in this game they have an edge over the Bills, and that's coaching. I truly am not a Sean Payton fan. I think he's a little bit arrogant, but I think Sean Payton's going to cook up something here against Sean McDermott. I think this game is going to be a lot closer than people think. I know the Broncos have a rookie quarterback, having to go into the freezing cold in Buffalo. Just watch Denver here. Just watch. I'm not saying they're going to win, but this can be a closer game than people think. 4:30 game on Fox on Sunday. Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady. Green Bay at Philly. Eagles are 5.5-point favorites. Packers haven't played well the last couple of weeks. But last year in the playoffs, we know what kind of damage they did going into Dallas and winning. And going to San Francisco, and quite honestly, should have won that game. But Jalen Hurts is healthy, and the Eagles' offensive line is just really good. I like that, Philly in that game. And then the Monday night game, the Rams as a 4 seed, having to host the Vikings, but having to do so in Glendale, Arizona, due to the wildfires out in LA. And man, that is just so terrible for the folks out there thinking about them. They're moving this game to Arizona. So it's basically a neutral site game. So the spread has moved to Minnesota as a 3-point favorite, playing this at State Farm Stadium in Arizona. A little bit of irony there. They're playing this game at State Farm Stadium. And of course, State Farm Insurance. Well, just Google it. I don't want to get in trouble. Vikings, we just saw them last week. They're a tough out. Rams with Stafford. That'll be a game that comes down to the end. Rams and Vikings. I'm rooting for the Vikings because I just don't want the Lions to play the Rams. I want the Rams out. O-U-T out. All right, so those are your matchups. And again, Minnesota and Rams, whoever wins that game will be playing next Sunday. So if the Lions have to play either one of those teams, that'll be a Sunday game. It will not be a Saturday game. You've got to give the teams that play on Monday the week, plenty of rest there. All right, coming up next, we will do another call of the day. We love our calls of the day and our friends and our everydayers checking in. We will do so coming up next. But first, Locked On Lions is sponsored by our friends at FanDuel. Big upsets, game-winning drives. Here we go, folks. The NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel. And they're here because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same-game parlays, and so much more. Go to the website. I gave you all the spreads, all the lines. I'm telling you. I may go on FanDuel and take the Broncos plus the points. I just have a feeling. It's a lot of points. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. Get started with $200 in bonus bets at FanDuel.com. Those of you that had the Golden State Warriors last night plus the points, you were a winner over the Pistons. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. Wrapping up this week, we will do what we love to do sometimes on this show, and that is our call of the day. If you want to be our call of the day and leave a voicemail on our SpeakPipe voicemail system, you can do so at speakpipe.com/dairy podcast page. We've gotten a lot of submissions. We've gotten Simon from the UK. We've had people from Ohio and Virginia and Connecticut, all over the country. Listen to Locked On Lions. We appreciate all of you. Today, we go live, well, not live, taped, to Nick Knight.
Hey, Matt, this is Nick from the Hartford area. I'm an everyday listener. I've been listening to the podcast for about 4 years. And my question is this. We all know that Aiden Hutchinson is the best player on the Lions defense. And there are other great players on the defense too, such as Lee McNeil and Carlton Davis. But my question is Alex Anzalone the most important player on the Lions defense, given how they played against the Vikings on Sunday night? Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Nick Knight, calling from the Hartford area. I'm assuming Hartford, Connecticut. I once did a Syracuse UConn basketball game, 94-95 season at the mall, we used to call it, the Hartford Civic Center in downtown Hartford, Connecticut, also home of one Rick Mahorn. Thank you, Nick. Interesting question. He brings up who's the most important player on the Lions defense. Maybe not the best player, as Nick said. I don't need to repeat what he said, but yes, Alex Anzalone, the Gaines media poster boy. Huge importance to this team. Captain, vocal leader, tough, right there, in the middle of the field there at linebacker, standing next to Jack Campbell. And you saw the difference that he made this past Sunday when the Lions beat the Vikings. Anzalone brings it, man. He's physical. He can run down running backs and guarded TJ Hawkinson beautifully. It was a great call by Ross yesterday talking about Anzalone in coverage against TJ Hawkinson. So yes, I would say the most important player left on this defense is definitely Alex Anzalone, but I will say this, a close second, Nick, is Brian Branch. If Brian Branch is not on the field for the Lions, it's trouble. I'm dead serious. That dude is a sure tackler. If Brian Branch is near the ball is going to be knocked down, intercepted, or the ball carrier, whether it's a wide receiver, tight end, running back, is going to go down. Brian Branch is immensely important for this Lions defense. Yes, Anzalone might be most valuable, leadership and everything else, and he's a veteran player. It's a very young team still. But Brian Branch, man, is vital to this team's success and has to be out there on the field. You know what's so beautiful? I don't have to do a show this weekend. I'm taking this weekend off. No Saturday game, no Sunday game. And for all of you Lions fans, isn't this great? You can sit back, relax with your favorite beverages, your favorite snacks. Heck, you can even, I got this from my friend Sarah Greifenberger. You can even have yourself a nice glass of this Lions bottle of wine. I love this thing. Who made this? Handcrafted, I can't read. Manos, M-A-N-O-S, Manos Wine Handcrafted Reserve. Cabernet. This is a nice cab. Drink your Lions wine. Have your Lions Bud Light. Do it up. And enjoy your weekend, everybody. We are back again on Monday to discuss the Lions matchup next weekend in the NFC divisional round. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. We're back again on Monday. You heard me.